time for our phone-in segment. We'll be talking about the state of the nation, and we'll be asking, is Nigeria's democracy working? Rivers State has become the center of political tension and attention from both public eyes, international eyes, political elites. Everyone has their eyes on Rivers State because of what is playing out and what has played out over the past couple of months, and if to say so, years in Rivers State at the moment. Now, accumulating in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's state of emergency rather, has put a lot more eyes on Rivers State. The drastic move sparked debates across the country, where people are asking, is this a necessary step to restore order, or does it signal a deeper crisis in Nigeria's democracy? Nigeria has been practicing democracy for over 2 decades, but with political crisis, allegation of election manipulation, insecurity, and governance challenges. At this point, many are beginning to ask, is our democracy truly working for the people? Or is it just a system in name alone? For what are we even practicing in Nigeria at this point in time? The phone lines are open. The question will be displayed on your screen shortly. Do well to call in and let's hear your thoughts, please. Let's keep our thoughts civil, our opinions straightforward and civil, in as much as it's a time to air your opinion, but let's keep our thoughts civil. And when you're calling in, do well to turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone. That way we can hear you and have a seamless flow of conversation. The numbers will be displayed shortly. So the second one is for WhatsApp. So do well to send us a message via WhatsApp as well if you're finding it difficult to connect via the phone to call in. The question still stands, state of the nation. Is our democracy working in Nigeria? Is it really working for the people? Or it's just a name tag that we're carrying along? Now, at its core, we all know what democracy means. It's a system of government where power resides with the people. Hello, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I am Hamza Adamu. She's calling from Mina.
Good morning, Hamza. How is Mina this morning?
Yeah, I am doing fine. I hope you are also doing fine.
I am fine. Thank you for asking. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, you see, my observation regarding this Rivers emergency that is being imposed. To me, if you look at the Constitution clearly says the provision is a miscellaneous one. And what does it mean to say miscellaneous? By miscellaneous, we are taking off everything that is below the line. Below the line means not that necessary. Let me give an example, like the budget. Anything that is out of budget is regarded as below the line, meaning not so serious, not so basic. So my belief is the president would have explored all that means. Probably we have the peace committee. He would have called the peace committee and give them the task of mediating on this issue. Or probably himself, he can call the 2 parties who are agreed so that he can talk to them and save the country from what it is. Now, he's trying to tell us that a military administration in that state is better than an elected democratic governor. Very unfortunate. This is my thought. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. But you didn't respond to the question on the screen. We're asking, do you think our democracy is working based on all that played out there? If you're still on the line. All right, we might have to let you go. Please do well to turn down the volume of your TV set when you're calling in. And the question is, yes, no doubt it relates to what happens in Rivers State, but we want to take it beyond that and reevaluate our democracy and what it means. There was a point where I went to, there's this little commercial hub we have here close to our office, Pana, and I went there and I asked people, is democracy working? And there's this particular guy that was carrying bags of cement on his head, and I just stopped and asked him. He said the democracy is not working, that the colonizers carried the democracy with them when they were leaving, and there's nothing like that in Nigeria at the moment. So are you, as a Nigerian, are you feeling that power resides with you? Because it says democracy is that system of government where power resides with the people. Do you feel like you have power resides with you? Do you feel like as a Nigerian, you're able to have decisive inputs, inputs into governance and policies being made that affects you? Let's take the next call we have this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Pastor Linus Lunaka, calling from Gombe.
Good morning, Pastor Linus, all the way from Gombe. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Thank you so much. This morning, yesterday I wanted to say something, but my call just cut off. But let me speak on the state of the nation. Is Nigerian democracy working? Of course, it's not working, because we have dictatorship that is going on here and there, and our political leaders are not leaders who go there for selfless service, and they are there for themselves, so they make sure that democracy is not working. Democracy is meeting the needs of the people you are representing. But unfortunately, it's not. They are meeting their own needs, not our own needs. So that was what the colonial masters did to us. They use us to meet their needs, and it's the same thing. They are using the poor people to meet their own needs. So for me today, and what is going on in the rivers, I see total failure of democracy. Because Wike, our president, Fubara, and the rest, they are not showing us democracy. Democracy is coming to agree on something and implement it. We thank God for their lives. We are still watching them, and we believe that maybe with our prayers things will change. We still have trust and believe in our leaders in this country, but there is need for them to fear God and to love one another so that we can forge ahead. We are tired of being stagnant as a country. God bless Nigeria.
God bless Nigeria indeed, Pastor Linus. Thank you very much. Appealing to the conscience of the leaders, and at the same time I would suggest that, Pastor Linus, while you're on the pulpit preaching to your people, don't just appeal to the conscience of the leaders, but talk to the minds of the people and let them know that as Nigerians, if Nigerians come up with one voice, there's going to be a difference. It surprises me how when I see people genuinely come out to criticize the government or talk about the cost of living, and you find fellow Nigerians who are in worse conditions than they are come out to criticize them for saying things against the government. It's funny how, we saw the case of the House with Natasha Apoti and the allegations she put against the Senate President, and her suspensions and all angles that played out to it. For a nation that is moving towards, women empowerment and creating equality and the rights of women, it is surprising whether she's telling the truth or not. There should be, let it be an investigation into that. But it's surprising to see women come out to protest against a woman who spoke about, something being meted against her, that if it happens to you as a woman, you would be traumatized. If it happens to your daughter, you would be traumatized. It simply shows that, is it Nigerians that are the problem, or is actually the leaders that are the problem at the end of the day? So the question is our democracy working? Are Nigerians even aware of the power they wield? The power resides with the people. The politicians are aware of this, but are the people aware of this? The phone lines are open. Let's hear your thoughts. Do well to call in, and we'll be here to talk to you, about it. But now, let us, if you want to assess the effectiveness of democracy, you want to know if democracy in a nation is actually working. One way you would know that is through empowered citizens, where a strong democracy ensures that citizens' rights are protected. A strong democracy ensures that citizens are well informed and are actively engaged in democratic processes. Do you find that happening in Nigeria? Let's take the next call we have this morning. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Do we still have the caller on the line?
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Tell us your name and where you are calling from.
I'm Solomon Tegron.
Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set, or we might have to let you go because we can't hear you.
Listen, I'm Solomon Tegron from Benue.
Good morning. Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set? All right. Please do well to call back. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but turn down the volume of your TV set completely. Moving away from it might not be the solution because definitely its feedback, it might just still echo. So turn on the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone. And if you want to hear yourself, join our live stream on YouTube. Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Thank you very much, beautiful presenter. My name is Nasir MD Rawaya Cafe from Gusau, Zamfara State.
Good morning, Nasir. How is Zamfara this morning?
We are all doing fine this morning. How is Abuja?
Abuja is fine. It's quite hot, but we're fine. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, is Nigerian democracy working? Well, it's working, but not properly and not amicably. The issue of this Wiki and Fubara, including President Tinubu, is something that really surprised me a lot. I'm just thinking of, I'm just hallucinating about it. The painful part of it is that the Senate and Reps members that they accept it and approve the issue with immediate effect within 3 to 10 days, without even telling us, without even publishing it in the newspaper or magazine. President had said something that he is going to declare state of emergency. They have to tell us now, but they did it because it is the interest of the president. So 80% of the blame should go to reps and senates, because they are just representing us, and they are the one that will finally approve it, so that president will definitely do it. Why not? They should inform us so that we will have our say. Maybe we will tell them that, oh, we don't think this is going to be a good idea, or it's going to be a bad idea, or something of that nature. So by using Senate and reps democratically to solve a problem like this, I don't think democracy is having it. I don't think democracy stands on its own in Nigeria. And when things is going to be happening this way, so I think president can be able to remove any governor, especially governor that is not in his party. So democratically in Nigeria, we are getting backward. But nevertheless, 2027, if we are going to use our voters card, our permanent voters card amicably, I think we have to change the change, and we have to change it to a democratic system that will make us enjoy Nigeria, will make us to be safe, will at least make us to vote for people that will help us in terms of health sector, security, whatever, and so on and so forth. And senators, finally, I have to tell them that they have to be always focusing on making issue or approving issues that concerns Nigeria, especially in terms of security issues, education issues, health issues, agriculture, any sector that is very important and vital to us. So that's my advice to them. I still remain MD Rawaya Cafe from Gusau, Zamfara State. Thank you very much, Mr. Presenter or Mrs. Presenter.
Thank you very much there for your thoughts and calling in all the way from Gusau in Zamfara State. You know, I do appreciate, and also the call on the senators, that they should actually raise issues that affect the people. As a senator who is representing the constituency, I expect you to raise an issue about rebuilding and restructuring and enhancing and modernizing the primary health care there in your community. It is expected that you are raising up motions about rebuilding and enhancing and remodernizing the education and the primary schools, you know, the government-owned primary schools, to the standard they should be in your constituency. You're seeing them raising bills about wanting to block certain, you know, websites or wanting to make bloggers own an office in Nigeria. You know, there are some bills they raise that it's, yes, okay, no problem, but how does that affect the life of the people you are representing? And this still brings me back to Nigerians. Do you know that in democracy, in the democratic rule and governance that we are practicing in Nigeria, do you think you know, and do you think that as citizens, you actually have the right? Now, one of the ways to assess effective democracy is empower citizens, where citizens are empowered, protected, well-informed, and actively engaged in democratic processes. As a Nigerian, do you feel you're carried along effectively in the democratic process of the nation? Do you think that your voice and your say matters? Let's hear from the next caller we have this morning. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Let's hear from the next caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
So, good morning.
Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set?
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, my name is Samuel. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Morning, Samuel. Go ahead with your thoughts.
All right, I'm watching you live and direct. I like what you people are doing, at least. But, the issue of Nigeria.
Your TV set is still turned on. I can hear you listening to yourself.
Okay, my TV? All right, my TV set, I've turned it down. Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
All right. I said, I watch you, I love what you are doing. I love what people are doing. Bringing sensitization, educating a lot of people. But, what is happening in Nigeria, to my own understanding is that we are the problem of ourselves. Because, first, we bring issue that is not related to us,
All right, I might have to let you go. Somehow it seems that the network is playing tic-tac-toe with you, or, we just can't hear you. You're still listening to yourself on your TV set, so we might have to let you go. So we could continue and give room for other callers to call in. Please keep your WhatsApp messages coming in. We're going to take them in the course of the show. But now, another way of accessing effective democracy is fair process. And this involves upholding the principles of one person, one vote. Are our leaders doing that? The electoral bodies, are they doing that? Do Nigerians trust the election system we have going on? We all know they don't, but I'm still putting this question. Do you still have faith that come 2027, it's actually going to be one person, one vote? Do you have faith that we're going to maintain a transparent process? Let's take the next call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Mike. I'm calling from Bauchi State, Katawin local government.
Good morning, Mike. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yes, the question this morning is very, very interesting. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, the question whether democracy is working in Nigeria or not is actually, from our own perspective, it is not working. Right from the time of election, we can clearly see that democracy is not for the people, but for the few who are up there. And when decisions are taken without the people, no consultations, how can we say democracy is working? I think in Nigerian context, democracy should be redefined, because what we are seeing is not what democracy is all about. Since Wike left River State, there have been troubles. Is it that if you are practicing democracy and you don't want to go for godfatherism or whatever they call, does it mean such a place cannot work? Well, we are praying for the country, and we want to pray that real democracy should begin to work in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much there for your thoughts. You've pointed out clear instances where it looks like democracy being practiced in Nigeria is another branch of democracy. So, but we appreciate your thoughts there. The phone lines are still open. The question still stands. Is Nigeria's democracy working? Are you feeling the impact as a Nigerian? Do you feel you have the power to elect officers? Do you feel you have the power to hold the government accountable? Do you feel you have the voice to speak up as a Nigerian? Let's hear your thoughts. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, my name is Ajiboye Abiodun.
Good morning, Abiodun.
My name is Ajiboye Abiodun.
Good morning, Abiodun. Go ahead. Let's hear your thoughts.
From Sokoto.
From Sokoto? All right, let's hear your thoughts.
My own view is that democracy in Nigeria is not working at all. It's not working at all. See, for example, now, you see what is happening in the house. They want everybody to be the party that is that is ruling. That is the APC. So everybody is in campaign. So there is no democracy. One party set in Nigeria. So and I see what is happening in Cross River. I mean River State. So they want the government to become APC by force. And see what has happened. So we only pray that God will have to stay in this country. So we thank you for giving us the audience to try to contribute. I pray that God will help Nigeria in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Thank you very much there. God help Nigeria. God bless Nigeria indeed. Thank you so much for your thought. He said that democracy in Nigeria is not practiced. And, when I was pointing out the effectiveness of, how to access effective democracy, one of them was empower citizens. The second was fair process, where we're asking, reflecting on the recent elections, do you believe that they were conducted transparently? Do you believe there was a case of one man, one vote? What improvement do you think we could do better that would enhance, the democratic rule that we are practicing in the nation? Now, on functioning government, effective governance is usually characterized by the government's ability to implement policies that directly affect positively the lives of the people, maintain political stability, and operate without due influence from external entities. Is that practiced in Nigeria today? Another way to assess effective democracy is political participation. A healthy democracy encourages active political engagement from its citizens, where people who are of the right age would know and be able to participate in political activities. But here we're seeing forms for political parties so outrageous that there's no hope for the young people, to afford it. Let's take the next call we have this morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. My name is Paul. I'm calling from Kaduna, Zaria.
Good morning, Paul. How is Zaria this morning?
Zaria is fine. Thank you.
All right, go ahead with your thought. Please turn down the volume of your TV.
Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, it's fine. Thank you. Go ahead.
The topic is a very interesting topic. Honestly, at the course of this program, you find out that most of people are involved. They will be telling you that democracy is not working, and that's the truth of it. Because people have lost hope on the people that we elect into offices. They have lost hope completely. Instead of them to listen to the people, they are no one listening to the people. Instead of them to meet the demand of the people, they are not meeting the demand of the people. Now, democracy is only working for the politicians, which enrich themselves. It's not working for the rest of us, the masses. That's my take.
Thank you very much there, Paul, all the way from Zaria. He has said that, contrary to popular opinion, it's working for the selected few, in the nation. Still on the effectiveness of democracy, we spoke about political participation, where a healthy democracy encourages active political engagement and participation from all citizens, providing opportunities for involvement in decision making and giving room that diverse voices are being heard. For a nation like Nigeria, with over 250 ethnic groups, is everyone duly represented? Let's take this call. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning, Lilian. You are speaking with Shetima Yakudima, calling from Maiduguri.
Good morning, Shetima. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Lilian, Honestly speaking, the topic is found very, very interesting, and I think if Nigerian democracy is working, Nigerian democracy is working, honestly speaking, but not in fully. Partially, Nigerian democracy is working. Because if you look at it very well, we have elected presidents, we have elected governors, we have members of the assemblies, lawmakers, all they were on seats. And they are doing what they can do. But in sincerity, they come for themselves. They did not come for the teeming masses. That's with the exception of few among them. But majority of them, they are not doing what we are expecting them to do. And what have democracy society have explained for them to do, they have diverted. They are doing what they think it is sound or it is okay for them. You see, Lilian, in a democratic society, whereby a voice of people cannot be listened, then what is democracy? In a society where we claiming that democracy is plain, a citizen doesn't have a freedom of expression. What is democracy? In a society where we have elected lawmakers, they say elected, but some of them they do not even contest for the primary election. What is democracy? You see, in a society where a Democrat government cannot provide security for the citizens, then what is democracy? In a society where people don't have access for education, they do not have access for health care, they do not have adequate water supply, they don't have a lot of things is absent. But we thank God, where it's working, we see a lot of flyovers, a lot of bridge. Look at a desert village like Damaturu. They have transformed to a city. That is democracy of Nigeria. Look at a forest village like Uyo in Akwa Ibom State. Have transported to a modern city. That is democracy of Nigeria. But if you talk about security of the people, it is absent, totally wrong, totally zero. If you look at the agriculture, it's totally zero. You know, citizens are being rejected, are being neglected, are being dropped, as they are not the ones that forming the government. They say democracy, government of people, by the people, and for the people. But in Nigeria, reverse is the case. It's government of the elites, by the elites, and for the elites. We are only playing our role on the election day, but we are not seeing the payment at the end. It was the rich that they are enjoying it. But we thank God, democracy is there. And they are presumed that our votes have been casted. We thank God, one day, Almighty Allah will intervene and our vote will be counted. And we are going to make a coup or a power of vote will produce a good government. Inshallah. I want Nigerians to be patient. One day we are going to win this war. Inshallah. Because if you look at it very well, the way we say enough is enough for PDP, we push them out of the government, we tear that umbrella. That's the way we are going to scatter this broom. This broom is not swimming the dirty, but is bringing the dirty into the society. but we are going to scatter that dream by God's willing. We are calling for all Nigerians to exercise patience. If you don't have a voter's card, make sure that you have your voter's card. 2027, inshallah, wonder will happen in Nigeria. By God's willing, by God's willing, we are going to change it. Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shetima. You have said a lot there. You know, what I picked out was he spoke about the various levels of democracy, and you know, he just said democracy is probably government of the aesthetics, because in terms of development and building flyovers and bridges, we're seeing that happening. But in terms of healthcare, security, education, it seems to be a little shaky on that part. So what exactly are we practicing? What kind of democracy are we practicing? You know, those are you know, valid points he's made there at the moment. We'll take the WhatsApp messages shortly. We have a message from Ibrahim Ahmed from Yola. He said democracy is not working in Africa. Look at what is happening in the Lagos House of Assembly and now Rivers State. During the Biden administration, the Republicans had to vote over 16 times to elect the Speaker of the House. You know, well, what exactly is happening in Nigeria? That message is from Ibrahim Ahmed, all the way from Yola. Now we have more messages there we're going to take, but the phone lines are still open. Let's hear your thoughts. Do well to call in and let's know what your takes are. The question is democracy working in Nigeria? As the state of the nation, is a democracy working in Nigeria? You know, how would you assess the effectiveness of democracy in Nigeria? Are we seeing active political participation, you know, from the citizens? Are citizens enlightened and engaged enough to participate in governance and policies being made, you know, about them? We have another message from Beatrice Linus Kamas from Gombe. He says, democracy in Nigeria faces serious challenges, making it ineffective in many ways. While elections are held regularly, issues such as electoral fraud, corruption, insecurity, and weak institutions undermine true democratic governance. Many Nigerians feel disconnected from leadership due to poor governance, economic struggles, and lack of accountability. Political leaders often prioritize personal interest over national development, weakening public trust in democracy. Additionally, the judiciary and legislature sometimes lack independence, limiting checks and balances. While democracy exists in principle, its implementation remains flawed, requiring urgent reforms to ensure transparency, good governance, and true representation of the people's will. Well said there, Beatrice, all the way from Gombe. You know, talking about how political leaders prioritize personal interest over, you know, reasons why they are being voted for, which is why when it came to the campaigning period where politicians were campaigning, I noticed a lot of media houses were asking, are these issue-based campaign? Politicians do not stick to issue-based campaign as much as they should. Or they tilt towards the lines of using ethnic, religious, and, you know, cultural divide against the people instead of sticking to issue-based campaign. This is what we will fix, not empty promises. Now we have the next WhatsApp messages. He didn't put his name. Okay, yeah, his name is not there, but the message: for democracy to thrive in Nigeria, 3 essential ingredients are needed. Ideological politicians. Nigerian politicians often prioritize tribal and patriarchal interests over the nation's well-being. In contrast, ideological politicians would focus on implementing policies that benefit the country as a whole. Sacrificial leaders. Greed and transactional policies have become rampant in Nigeria. Sacrificial leaders, on the other hand, would put the nation's interest ahead of personal gains. And politically aware populace. The Nigerian populace must become more informed and engaged in the democratic process. This includes actively participating in elections and holding leaders accountable. The recent attempt to recall Senator Natasha Nkugi demonstrates how poverty and sectionalism can be exploited for political gain. To combat this, the government, media, NGOs, and politically aware citizens must work together to promote democracy and good governance. Ultimately, good leaders who respect democracy won't magically appear. It is up to the Nigerian people to demand better and work towards creating a more functional democracy. This message is from Ibrahim Egwa, all the way from Lafia. Thank you, Ibrahim. You know, he broke it down so well, especially on the aspect of political awareness and information on the part of the citizens. For every time I wrap up Daybreak, if you listen attentively, you will talk about you would listen to how I talk about keeping yourself informed, finding the best way to educate yourself on what is happening in the nation, understand things that are happening. That way you are informed and you can handle and hold the government accountable at all times. We have the next WhatsApp message. It says, democracy in Nigeria is a complex and a multifaceted issue. While you believe democracy is working in Nigeria, citing its definition as the government of the people, the electoral process is also marred by issues such as voter apathy, electoral violence, and corruption. The 2023 elections, for instance, saw a low turnout of just 25 million voters, representing a fraction of the eligible voting population. Furthermore, the country's socio-economic challenges, including poverty, inequality, and unemployment, have contributed to widespread disillusionment with the democratic process. Many Nigerians feel their voices are not being heard and that the government is not addressing their needs. Despite these challenges, it is essential to acknowledge that democracy is still the best option for Nigeria. As you noted, the worst form of democracy is better than the best military rule. The key is to work towards strengthening the country's democratic institution, promoting transparency and accountability, and addressing the socio-economic challenges that undermine the democratic process. Ultimately, Nigeria's democracy requires ongoing efforts and commitments from all stakeholders, including citizens, leaders, and civil society organizations. By working together, it is possible to build a more robust and inclusive democratic system that truly serves Nigerian people. You know, well spoken there. That is from Olusoya Olalekan Ebenezer. Thank you so much for that message there. He has broken it down as well, stating that in all of this, in everybody that has sent in their message, and even those who have called, there's one point that had made it clear. We might not have the kind of leaders we deserve as Nigerians. That is the leaders who put the people first and the leaders who are transparent enough. But we have the citizens, and the citizens have a voice. The next message we have, good morning, Trust TV. Good morning, Trust TV. Is democracy working in Nigeria? Of course, it's a capital no. Look at what has been happening in the Senate chamber. Is that democracy? How will you suspend a sitting senator because of a self-acclaimed interest? Look at Rivers State. Also, you suspended an elected governor, deputy, and House of Assembly members just like that because you are the president. Okay, I'll move on from that. If not, as Nigeria is not working, by now the president should have been impeached, though it saddened our so-called representatives. All right, your message is quite, the president does not have such power. This is from Josiah from Ida. Well, thank you, Josiah, for that message there. It seems quite, well, we always say let's keep, there are ways and ways and ways to send your messages out, stating facts and the obvious, without intertwining it with harsh words that are really not, aligning with our culture and our people as Nigerians. Now, this is from Peter from Kaduna. It says the government has saved the nation from wanton destruction. Bombing major pipeline is an act of terrorism. Thank you, Mr. President. Well, thank you there, Peter, all the way from Kaduna, for your thoughts. We still have a couple of more messages. Well, still on all of this that's going on, chap. When it comes to all the messages that have been sent, like I was saying before the other message came up, everybody is mentioning something, and one important point there is the fact that the power lies with the people. Have the people realized that just yet? We have from John Alaba from Nasarawa. He said democracy is not working in Nigeria. Democracy is supposed to be government of the people, for the people, and by the people. But what we experience in Nigeria is government of the politicians, for the politicians, and by the politicians, because they always make policies that benefit them and them alone. The voice of the people do not hold water in Nigeria. The politicians alone has a final say because they are operating in every arm of the government. This is an animal kingdom democracy. Thank you, John Alaba, there all the way from Nasarawa. John Alaba has said it is government of the politicians, by the politicians, and for the politicians. While we have Shetima who said it's government of the elite, for the elite, and by the elites. This clearly shows that Nigerians are not feeling the impact of what true democracy is. Their voices being heard. All of this put together one point stood out for me from everybody's point, that as a citizen, you know you have the right and you know you have the power. Well, we've come to the end of this segment.